Hi Pine class, welcome back to story time. It's time for part 5 of The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe. Below them, in the evening light, where Narnia met the sea, the castle shone like a great star, when suddenly a noise broke the silence. "It's your sister's horn," said Aslan. Running towards the sound, Peter saw creatures scattering in every direction. Then he saw Susan swing herself up into a tree, followed by a huge grey wolf snapping and snarling at her feet. Peter did not feel very brave, but he rushed straight up to the wolf and aimed a slash of his sword at its side. Quick as lightning it turned on him. After a short, hard fight, Peter managed to plunge his sword into its heart. A moment later, the wolf lay dead. "Quick!" shouted Aslan. "Centaurs, eagles, I see another wolf. He will be going to his mistress. Now is your chance to find the witch and rescue the fourth son of Adam." Instantly, a dozen of the swiftest creatures disappeared into the gathering darkness. Peter shakily wiped his sword clean on the grass. "Hand it to me and kneel, son of Adam," said Aslan. Then Aslan struck him with the flat of the blade and said, "Rise up, Sir Peter, wolfsbane." After Edmund had been made to walk further than he had thought possible, the witch at last halted in a dark valley. At that moment, a wolf rushed up to them, snarling. "They're all at the stone table. They've killed my captain. Fly, fly!" "No," said the witch. "Summon all our people. Call out the giants, the ghouls, the ogres and the werewolves. We will fight." Edmund found himself being forced to his feet by the dwarf and roughly tied to a tree. The witch muttered, "4 thrones in Cair Paravel, but how would it be if only 3 were filled?" Edmund heard the awful sound of a knife being sharpened. Then suddenly there was a drumming of hooves and a beating of wings, and Edmund felt himself being untied. Strong arms were round him, and kind voices said, "Steady now," and "Who's got the witch? Do you mean she's escaped?" For to their surprise, the witch had vanished. But just at that moment, Edmund fainted. Presently, the creatures all set off back to the stone table, carrying Edmund with them. When the other children woke up next morning, they saw Aslan and Edmund walking together. No one knew what Aslan had said to Edmund, but it was a conversation that he would never forget. As the others drew near, Edmund shook hands with each of them and said, "I'm sorry," and everyone said, "That's all right." Then a leopard came up to Aslan and told him there was a message from the enemy. Onto the hilltop came the witch's dwarf. "The Queen of Narnia desires to come and speak with you," he announced. "Tell your mistress that I grant her safe conduct, but she must leave her wand behind her at that great oak," replied Aslan. A few minutes later, the White Witch stood before Aslan. "You have a traitor there, Aslan," she said. Everyone knew she meant Edmund. "And the deep magic says that for every treachery I have a right to kill. Otherwise, Narnia will perish in fire and water." "It is very true," said Aslan solemnly. Then he and the witch walked away from the others and talked, the golden face next to the dead white one. It was a terrible time, this, for everyone, waiting and wondering. At last the witch left, with a look of fierce joy on her face. As soon as she was gone, Aslan said, We must move from here." So they all set off. And as they walked, Aslan outlined to Peter plans for the battle. That night they camped in a valley, but after everyone had gone to sleep, Susan and Lucy lay awake, talking in the darkness. For Aslan had seemed sad all evening. "Look," Susan suddenly said, and they saw the great lion walking away into the wood. Silently, they both got up and followed him. In a moonlit clearing, he turned to them. "Dear Aslan, wherever you're going, may we come with you?" the girls begged him. "Yes," he answered. "I would be glad of your company tonight, if you promise to stop when I tell you." Presently, they found themselves going up the slope of the hill on which the stone table stood. At the edge of the trees, Aslan stopped and said, "Children, you must leave me to go on alone, and whatever happens, do not let yourselves be seen. Farewell." The girls cried and bitterly clung on to him for just a moment longer. A great crowd of evil creatures was standing all around the stone table, and in the middle of them was the witch herself. "The fool has come," she cried. "Bind him fast." That's the end of part 5. I'm afraid you'll have to wait till next week to find out what happens to Aslan.